have the highlights. How about a game of chess? We'll find out all about it from Michigan safety Jamar Adams. And we'll look ahead as another road test looms. We'll scout Wisconsin. All that and more coming up next. Michigan Replay with Lloyd Carr is brought to you in part by Abso Pure Water, delivering quality bottled water since 1908. By Sirius Satellite Radio. By the University of Michigan Alumni Association, uniting the leaders in best. www.umalumni.com. By State Farm, providing insurance and financial services. By AT&T, for a behind-the-scenes look at sports, visit attblueroom.com/sports. And by Powered by Pontiac, the official performance machines of the NCAA.
It's what we play for, baby. Rivalry.
The jubilation of a Michigan locker room following a victory over Michigan State in a hard-fought 28-24 win in East Lansing. Coach Lloyd Carr, down 10 with 7 minutes to go, and you brought it home. Wow.
Well, it was an unbelievable game, a memorable game amongst a lot of memorable Michigan State games.
No question about it. And you got great performances from a couple of kids, and Chad Henne and, well, Mario Manningham and Mike Hart. But Henne and Hart coming in not 100%. Those kids are amazing.
Well, they are amazing, Jim. And, you know, they've done it for 4 years. They came in together, and certainly for our team, with the injuries they've had, and to come back and both of them play like they did, it's a tribute to the kind of people they are.
Well, and the game was a story of two halves, really. In the first half, your defense played extremely well. This is their first possession, and it's the only time in the first half that Michigan State was really moving the ball.
Well, they hit their big tight end there, a great target.
Boy, he's a good player.
He's well covered. Brandon Harrison had him well covered, but he came up with a play. And then we blitz, and we hit the quarterback, but Hoyer makes a nice throw to Thomas. And we did a great job on Devin Thomas in terms of preventing big plays, Jim. And here, Brandon Engelman makes a great play on third down to force a field goal attempt.
And they do get the field goal, so it's a 3-0 game. At this point, that stadium was rocking, and then after an exchange of punts, you get the ball back in the first quarter, and you start to move.
Well, we give the ball to Mike Hart here. No, that's the next play.
That's the next play.
Yeah, Chad hits Carson Butler here for a first down, and a well-executed play.
This is special.
Yeah, here's a draw play, and Mike makes a linebacker miss in the backfield, and then watch the effort here. He just refuses to go down. He brings some energy and excitement to the game.
Sure does. Then you go to Manningham for the score.
Well, a great throw here, and Mario got behind the receiver. Chad threw the ball outside, and Mario came up with a play that gives us the lead.
And that's a 7-3 lead. And then you do a great job on Ringer in this swing pass here.
Well, Ringer has had they've had a lot of success with that play in the course of the year, and Chris Graham makes a wonderful play. And here we get great pressure, and Jamar Adams comes up with a big interception, and we get great field position going inside the 50-yard line of Michigan State.
And then it's that man Mike Hart again.
Well, this is just a great run. The same thing. He's apparently stopped there, and he just keeps running. Mark Mondros done a great job for us at fullback there, makes a good block, and we're running behind Jake Long, and a great play for us.
Then Chad Henne hits Carson Butler, and just like that, you got a 14-3 lead as you go through the second quarter. And nothing much happened after that. The defense, though, continued to play well.
Well, our defense here is, this kid, Terrence Taylor and Brandon Graham, they're having a lot of fun at this stage of the game. And things changed, though, in the third quarter.
It sure did. The one thing I thought was important in the first half,
They had field position a couple of times inside your 50. They were working in a short field, and that defense was able to hold Michigan State without points. In the whole scheme of the game, those were great big stops, weren't they?
Well, Jim, the thing the biggest thing you've got to do to Michigan State offensively is stop the running game, and we did a great job against the run in the first half.
Second half was a different story. We'll be back and take a look at those second half highlights. But first we hear from Jake Long, who said, the Spartans brought the real deal in East Lansing.
I got to give it to Michigan State. They had a great D-line. They brought a lot of stunts, and you know, they're bringing it all game. And we knew if we could just protect up front, get Chad time, the receivers are going to get open, and we just gave it all we got our last 2 drives and gave them a lot of time, and you know, got those touchdowns.
It was rough. You know, those 2 backs, they average, you know, certain amounts each game. So you're going to get a lot from them. I knew they was going to come back second half and do a lot of power. They was going to come back to a lot of plays, and they hit big plays on us. But, you know, you just got to believe. You got to believe and have faith that, you know, offense is going to go out there and do their part. We're going to do our part. And that's what we did on both sides. We got the ball right back to them, and they showed up. So I'm still trying to breathe from it. It was amazing. And guys just play hard.
Well, the Wolverines had a 14-3 lead at halftime, but in the second half it sure changed. And Lloyd, Michigan State came out, and it looked like they said, well, we're just going to do what we do. And they started to pound the football, and they controlled the line of scrimmage.
Well, Jim, we took the opening kickoff, couldn't do anything with it, gave it to them, and we had good field position. But here, they run the isolation play, and this Kulkrich, you've got to hit him low, and he's a powerful guy. And they had some real success here on the play-action pass, hitting Davis, a big tight end again. And back here, back to Kulkrich again. Good running lane. Brandon Engelman makes a good tackle. But they are moving the ball on us, and they moved the ball on us throughout this quarter.
They sure did. And here's Kulkrich going in, which gives them a 14-10 deficit. And at that point, you're thinking, okay, if Michigan's offense can come back and answer, it's good. But you only go on a 5-play possession, and then they start to play. And this is one of the most amazing plays of the game.
Well, it really is. We've got them ringer stopped here for no gain or maybe a loss. And the guy that had him tackled on the other side, Sean Crable, makes one of the great plays. Effort-wise, pursuit-wise, that I can remember.
He makes the tackle, but it doesn't stop Michigan State from scoring. Still a great effort, but the Spartans score to make it a 17-14 game, and at this point, it's getting away from you, and it continues to get away.
But Jim, in the third quarter, Michigan State had the ball over 9 minutes, and this is why. They're cutting the ball back against our defense, and here it was a trick play that Michigan State had run earlier in the year, threw the tight end Davis a touchdown off of it. We had it covered, but he hits the flanker, and then they go into the end zone with Kulkrich and now take the lead, and the crowd is raucous.
Raucous indeed, but now you get the next possession, and I want you to know, Chad Henne starts to go to work, and you're working with the clock.
Well, the one thing we did a tremendous job here, Steve Schilling, our young left tackle, right tackle, stepped on Chad's foot here, and Ryan Mallett goes into the game. They hit him with a free blitzer off the backside, and who but Mike Hart picks the ball up and runs for a first down.
That was fortuitous, but then Chad comes back and just starts to make some great throws.
Well, we do a great job here with pass protection. Chad had time here, and he makes some plays. Our receivers here, a great throw, and a good route by Greg Matthews, our young sophomore receiver who's quietly having a wonderful year.
You're back in at 24-21. Big third down with their next possession.
Sean Crable makes an outstanding play to turn. That ball was designed to go outside, and Crable makes a great play, turns it back inside, and we get the ball back.
And this is with 3:21 to go. Great protection. That's a 3rd and 11 call, and you get the first down out of it.
Well, Jim, we're going to be facing a 4th down there where we're going to have to go for it, but instead – Chad found Arrington, and here he finds Mario, who gets up the field for good yardage, and we're now knocking on the door.
And here you are, 3rd and 12, and you go for the whole thing.
Well, 3 straight times on 3rd down, we find a way to protect and make a play, and wonderful catch by Mario and a great throw, and now we got to stop them one more time.
28-24. Now they come back and they hit Thomas here over the middle. One time they get out of there.
Well, we make a mistake there, and they got great field position and plenty of time with timeouts left.
This is a huge play, a sack, and this takes their last timeout away.
Well, Ron English made a great call there with a zone blitz, and Obieze and Crable get to the quarterback. Now they get 2nd and long, and Morgan Trent makes a sensational play here, knocking down a ball that's going to give them a much shorter 4th down to go.
And then this is 4th down, and again, you run a blitz at them, force them to throw a little bit tough, you had it covered, and that's basically the ball game.
Well, we had Brandon Harrison in perfect position there. They had a good route called. It's one of those routes, if you hesitate, it's going to be wide open, and Brandon Harrison was there, thankfully.
Have you ever been in one like that where the second half goes totally against you, then all of a sudden, you know, you come back late?
Well, several years here in Michigan Stadium, we were down 17.
I was going to say, your first game, you were down 17, you came back.
Well, at Virginia, yeah, but Jim, 2 or 3 years ago in Braylon Edwards, we were down 17 with 6 minutes to go, and found a way to win that game. And but we were really struggling offensively here throughout the 3rd quarter and the first half of the 4th. And defensively, we were on our heels. They ran the ball right at us and maintained possession, and we couldn't do anything offensively.
In that last 7 minutes, how'd you turn that around?
Well, you
was
know,
it the kids just?
Oh yeah, I think, you know, one thing, our coaches kept their poise. Mike DeBoard made some great calls, as did Ron English, but we just tried to tell our guys, look, there's plenty of time, but we can't waste any more time. And of course, then we put a drive together offensively. We hit Matthews for a touchdown, and that changed the momentum back to us. And our defense made 2 great stops there, one to get us the ball back, and then, you know, of course, to end the game. But no doubt, it was a great win for this team.
You can say that again. It was a great win for Michigan over a very tough Michigan State team. When we come back, we'll take a look and meet Jamar Adams. But first, we hear from Chad Henne. Said in the final moments, there was no panic on Michigan's sideline.
Guys were buckling down. There was no dishope in us. I mean, everybody wanted to win. We knew we could win, pull it out, and we definitely had a lot of time left. And guys stepped up and performed.
Now, the Pontiac Performance Play of the Game.
Henne in the gun, has the snap, has some time, looking right, airing it out for Manningham in the end zone. He's got it! Touchdown, Michigan! Mario Manningham is super once again, and the Wolverines have the lead 27-24 with under 2.5 minutes to play.
Michigan football players come from all over to Ann Arbor. Starting safety Jamar Adams made his way to Michigan from Tobacco Road in Charlotte, North Carolina. And for Jamar, it was a Wolverine Heisman winner who got his attention when he was in middle school.
I seen Charles Wilson return the punt for the touchdown. And in middle school, the next year in middle school, I was like, I'm wearing number 2. I got to have this kind of a helmet. It looked like Charles. I got to wear my wristbands like Charles. You know, so they had terrific players in the past that I had seen. Tim Biakabatuka, who got drafted to the Panthers. And so they had this tradition of great players. And then when it was my time to come, they had Ernest Shazar, Marlon Jackson, Braylon Edwards. And I felt as though one day if I worked hard enough, I could possibly be at these guys' level. And, you know, I thought they had everything here academically and athletically that gave me the best opportunity to do that.
Football isn't Jamar's only interest, though. He's been in the band, then a jazz band, and he was also on the state champion chess team. Doesn't sound like chess and football go together, but you'd be wrong. According to Jamar, he's still playing chess on Saturdays in the Big House.
It's like this strategy game. You know, I'm playing against another guy's mind. And we're trying to use these pieces to mentally beat each other. And it's like in a football game. I'm trying to play, the defensive coordinator is trying to play with the offensive coordinator. The quarterback is trying to play with the safety. The safety is trying to play with the quarterback. So, you're trying to disguise one thing and bring the pressure another way. Just like you do in the football and chess, I try to do the same thing. I'll put my bishop one way to make it seem like I'm trying to create a checkmate this way, but I'm really trying to backdoor him with the queen or my knight or my rook. The same game, it's the same deal. It's just, a different type of, setup to it.
Of late, Adams and his secondary mates have been winning the chess game. They may be the most improved part of the team, and Jamar says there's a simple reason for it.
We just embrace the role, understanding the game always going to be on us, regardless of what happens. If the D-line mess up, the linebackers mess up, we got to get the ball down. It's a running game. And if the D-line and linebackers don't get pressure in the passing game, we're going to have to be the ones that's covering all the time. So once you embrace that role, once you know it's always going to be on you, you start to you take joy in that. And then you start to realize, hey, if I make a mistake, it's all right. We got the next play to deal with. I think Coach Bedford does a great job of just letting us feel free in the sense of knowing that it's going to be on us. Take pride in that, embrace it, love it, and because that's what you are. You're a defensive back here at the University of Michigan.
Well, Jamar embraced it against Michigan State. On Saturday, he had like 14 tackles and an interception.
14 tackles and an interception. And Jim, the beautiful thing now is we'll have a timeout and call the defense together. And, it's amazing how many times Jamar's saying something in there that makes a lot of sense to his teammates. He's developed into a great leader, and he's such a guy of great character.
Now, don't play chess with him because he'll probably beat you.
Yes, he would.
No
yes,
comment on that.
I'll have to admit that.
When we come back, we'll look ahead to next week's game against the Wisconsin Badgers. But first, we hear from Mike Hart, who says it doesn't get any easier next week.
Big game next week, and we know that. They gave us a great warm-up this week, though, I'll tell you that. So we'll be ready next week. We got to go in, have a good week of practice, and get ready to go.
And then come Monday, just start looking towards Wisconsin.
Start looking towards Wisconsin. And Camp Randall Stadium, as Morgan Trent said, is a crazy place to play. I've always thought that's weird that when they get going at the end of the game, that press box starts rocking.
It starts rocking.
It's strange.
I've been there and in that press box. I first came to Michigan, even that was before Barry took over at Wisconsin, and they got it rocking and rolling. And outstanding football program.
You bet it is. And their big physical, hard-nosed team, Brett Phelan was their head coach. Lost to Ohio State on Saturday, but this was a team that going into the season was expected to be a team that fought for the championship.
Well, Jim, they played without P.J. Hill, who's one of the best backs in the country, and certainly it was a great ball game. I haven't had a chance to look at the tape, but just hearing the reviews on the radio coming home, they played awfully well down there, and this guy Beckham is without question one of the 2 or 3 best tight ends in the country.
And their defense is nothing to shake a stick at. I mean, they've got some guys that can run. They've got players that can make plays, linebackers that can move around. I mean, they're a test. And at Madison, they're tougher.
Well, you got an old Michigan player.
Old Mike Hankwitz.
Mike Hankwitz coordinating that defense. They've always played great defense since Barry went there. And Brett, of course, was defensive coordinator before taking over. So they're a tough, physical, well-coached, disciplined team.
And this was an interesting game against Michigan State. We were talking during a break that this Michigan State game gets you ready for the next weeks because Wisconsin's going to give you that same physical, pounding kind of a football offensively.
Well, Jim, we talked about it before the season started. We had so many spread teams, and all of a sudden we knew coming into November, now we're going to get a different kind of offensive football. We're going to get hard ball, line up, and here we are, here we come, stop us. And that's what we're going to get again this week.
Does it concern you a little bit that Michigan State was able to pound that in that second quarter,
or
third quarter?
I think it's, it is something that we should benefit from. And certainly we'll have to look at the film. We've got some things that we've got to do better. That is absolutely certain.
And the other thing, and I got to ask you this again, You're going to get tired
Again?
of it. Again. You're going to get tired of me. But obviously, you know, Mike Hart's health. He didn't play a lot in the second half against Michigan State. Chad Henne, those are two guys that people are concerned about.
Well, I think, Jim, you know, the thing that you've got to look at in this game, Mike tweaked that ankle again, but when he started the game, he looked pretty.
He looked
pretty
Mike Hartish.
good. Yes, he did, and so I think we'll have to go slow with him this week, but I don't think you're going to keep Mike Hart out of this one.
And Chad, same thing.
Absolutely, he finished the game, didn't he? He was something else too.
He was something. He's been something else all year
is.
long. Well, that's a great wrap-up of a Michigan State game where the Wolverines came out on top 28-24. Don't miss us next week because it's another beauty